I wanted us to take the positives from last night because the Brighton game was slim pickings, but I felt there was a lot of positives last night. Rasmus getting his first goal, Casemiro played a lot better than he has done and scored two. I thought Martinez was, on the road to getting back to where he needed to be. I think there was some positives compared to, a lot of negatives from the weekend. And what I needed to call out, and look, I expect it to see from, you expect to hear it on the radio from prats like Gabby. But I actually saw some United fans last night reacting with the words lazy, spineless, same old United. And I'm like, just say you're Ten Hag out. Actually, just say you're Ten Hag out so I can ridicule you. Because what game are you watching? Spineless, lazy, and what was it? Same old United. I'm like, you didn't watch the game, did you? Or if you did watch the game, you watched the game in the way that negative people do watch the game, where they ignore anything positive and just go, we're shit, we're shit, we're shit. We lost 4-3 in Munich against a team that's way better than us, and two people made two massive mistakes, Eriksen and Onana. So really, we could have got a draw. But I'd have took 2-0 last night. I'd have took a 2-0 loss. So I'll certainly take 4-3. The whole team didn't play shit. The whole team wasn't spineless. But you get that sort of agenda coming out. You get people going, United were a disgrace. They were spineless. We've got, look, our midfield, Casemiro, Bruno and Eriksen, with McTominay having to come on against Musiala, Goretzka and Kimmich. It's a recipe for disaster. And actually, it wasn't a disaster last night. I think there was a lot to take from last night that we must take into the Burnley game. But you've got to be really careful because I felt last night, and I said this on the watch along, I felt that what I was seeing and what I was hearing and what I was seeing on social media was this is not going the way the media, certain sections of the media, certain fans want it to go. I sensed all day yesterday and all through the game, I sensed that people expected and wanted and almost had the mentality of United are going to get beat 4-5-6-0. And when it didn't happen, their story dissipated. So what they tried to do is manipulate that result into the humiliating 6 or 7-0 they were hoping for. And even some people in our fan base have done it because some people have made their mind up. And when people make their mind up, they have to be right. And I think that there are people out there that have decided that Ten Hag isn't good enough for Man United, that these players are not good enough for Man United, and that United is the story to jump on and put pressure on. And I'm 100% aware of this, and I'm totally convinced that this is the story that we're going to have to fight against, which is why I think it's so important that we bounce back against Burnley and go on a run of fixtures where we win right the way through until the Manchester Derby, which is next month. We've got 4 Premier League games that we can win, and we've got a couple of cup games, Galatasaray and obviously the Carabao Cup game against Palace, which I think we need to win. So, and I think that will happen, but there is definitely an agenda against our manager and our team because they want to push that. And look, I know how the media works. They'll look at it at the moment, they'll go, Liverpool, Arsenal, Brighton, Man City, they're the positive stories. Spurs, they're a positive story. Villa, they're a positive story. But we need a big club where it's a negative story, where we can really push the sack across the season. And it's Pochettino and Ten Hag, and it's Chelsea and Man United, and that's the story that's been written at the moment, and we've got to fight against it. No one questions the mistakes similar goalkeepers like Edison and Alisson make mistakes. I back Onana 100%. You also see Murta offered 50 million for Ferguson, says James. I don't see anybody turning on Onana, and I think that's a good thing. I think it was a very good thing that he came out and fronted up, but I didn't really see anybody going in on Onana anyway. I think it was overhyped. Even people like myself that didn't really agree with replacing De Gea this summer, I still liked Onana as a goalkeeper anyway. I like Onana. I liked him at Inter. I liked him at Ajax. So I don't think I think it's a concern with Onana. I don't think it's a hate campaign or anything stupid like that. I just think people are a bit concerned, maybe this won't work out, which who knows whether it will or it won't, but it's too early days and I don't see a problem with Onana. I mean, he cost us last night, but Ten Hag was right. Ten Hag said, it's a bit slim, but he's still right. He said Sane shouldn't get the shot off, and he is right. Like, Sane plays a 1-2, and I can't remember whether it's well, obviously it's Reguilon, but there was somebody close by as well. It could have been Eriksen, it could have been Casemiro, who really need to close him down quicker. The shot shouldn't happen, but you are clutching at straws a little bit because it's such a simple save for Onana. Mark, what sort of result is acceptable against City or Liverpool or Arsenal? Says Rory, but we're not. You see, this is the thing about writing stories and headlines which are completely and utterly useless, because we don't play Man City for a few weeks, and it's so important to focus on the fact that we are missing so many players. Like Amrabat really should have been in the summer. We're nearly in October. Like I look at dates, I look at where we are. It's nearly October, and Amrabat hasn't played a minute for Man United. Like the transfer window closed 3 weeks ago. That's how worried. It's worth looking at that. Like, it's nearly October and Amrabat's not played a minute. Mason Mount has played, what, one game? Mainoo's played no games. All three of those players, whether you rate them or not, are clearly part of Ten Hag's plans. So, look, there has to be a consideration around... And look, Varane's a massive loss at the back. Varane is a huge loss at the back. Sancho and Anthony are big losses. You can say it's down to them. You can say, whatever, but it is. So, I mean... Wan-Bissaka's a big loss. Luke Shaw is a huge loss. So we've got a lot of problems. Not saying other clubs don't, but we do have a lot of problems. And it's in in a different world, last night was a good result. In some fans' minds now, they'll be saying it's a good result. But in a different world, last night's a good result. You go to Munich, their strongest 11, the bench they've got, at home, huge favourites. You lose 4-3. Your goalie makes a mistake. Eriksen was rubbish defensively, and you only lose 4-3. And you've got Luke Shaw, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Amrabat, Mount, Mainoo, Anthony, all players that would be definitely getting minutes, if not starting, all out. So I think that there is a positive... All I can say is I feel positive this morning. How I feel on Sunday is going to be very different if we don't win, but I do feel that there is an opportunity in front of us now to get this season started. And that's why I said at the start of the week, for me, the season starts on Saturday night. And I'll say it again today. The season starts on Saturday night. That's the game we've got to go and win. And you know what, as well, I look at that team. No one questions the mistakes similar goalkeepers let. We've done that from James. We have lost 4 out of 6 games this season, conceding 14 goals in 6. Eric Ten Hag's side now lost 18 of their last 35 away matches, says Jack. We need to remember we are very much in the early stage of transition, says Ronnie. And how are the media still enticing McTominay based on his international play when he's never really had a comparable good game for United, says Delicate Official.